Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. The views and opinions expressed in this video and on UME Radio YouTube channel are those of the host and or the guests and do not necessarily reflect the opinion of UME Radio YouTube channel.
Let's talk
relationships on UME Radio.
So what are we talking about?
Marriage, dating, parenting, business,
And love, emotions, sex.
It's a conversation with me, Lady Misty,
And DJ KTE.
on everything from hot topics to taboos.
Join us Mondays at 9 p.m. live on UME Radio.
Follow us at Let's Talk Relationship Show on Facebook or on UME Radio on Instagram. Let's talk relationships, arguments for the grown.
Get the UME Radio app to listen wherever you are. That is UME Radio. One word.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.
Hey, welcome.
Yes, hi.
Tonight's segment of LTR. Let's talk relationship or relationships, right?
Yes.
So we've been having a wonderful time over the last few months. Different topic, different issues that we've been discussing that relates to relationships, and we've had quite a few awesome responses from the audience, and we so endeavor to continue sharing on this platform here. And tonight, welcome to Gloria.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you here. For those of you who are watching us, or have been watching us faithfully, you've seen us have new faces every time, because on this particular show here, and our vision is that we give people a voice. I always say the amplify one's voice.
Yes.
So we have a new face. We have our Lady Misty, who's always been here.
Yes.
And, she has been feeling well and she's recovering. And we just pray her strength in the Lord that she'll just recover nicely.
Yes.
We love her dearly and miss her. Misty, come back. Where are you? But we hope that she'll just be well. And she always be saying, hey, where's my tribe? So I miss that her phrase, my YouTube tribe. That's Lady Misty for you. So we're here tonight with an awesome host guest, and you may see more of her, but we are happy to have her here.
Thank you.
So how are you feeling today? How was your day today?
Today was hectic, but it was good. It was good. Yes.
Was it as busy as mine, as crazy as mine?
I don't know. I'm trying to stay awake.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes you just gotta keep going.
Yeah. How was your day?
It
was busy.
Crazy. It was busy, and I found myself was just kind of wearing many hats today. One of those many hats days.
Yes.
But all in all, I'm thankful. I'm grateful.
Yes.
And again, it's just good to be here.
Definitely.
Tonight to really just have fun.
Yes.
Here we believe in really just having the conversation,
Yes.
And tonight we have a very interesting topic
Yes.
that we're going to be sharing. And, the topic of tonight, you want to tell us what it is?
10 toxic communication habits in relationships.
Yeah.
That should be fun.
Now, we know there are many more than 10, but I guess these 10 are probably major ones.
Yes.
Yeah. So me being a divorcee,
Wow.
And having the experience of being married,
Yes.
I know what it is to have clashes. As some would say, when tongue and teeth meet.
Oh, Lord. Oh, yes.
Or we have an excitable conversation.
Oh,
You put it.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
when
the counselors came in the midst, and we had to talk and see how we do in a setting as such. and we'd have great constant session. After the session is like, what happened here? We just learned some skills, but how about us put those skills in place
to use.
That was the hard part,
Yeah, it's always it's easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to know that these are the skills, but then to implement them, that's where the problem is.
Yes. So I found that there's several times when we'd have a great content session, and we'd leave, and the minute we hit the car, it's like we forgot all the techniques, that we learned. Okay, you listen first, and I would talk, and then I'll listen. Then you can speak. That went through the door, like
definitely,
definitely. And then the blame game comes in, and the words. Yeah, it's just it's fascinating, but at least it gives you a sense of perspective.
Yes.
You can relate to someone else who said, "Yeah, I've been there, done that."
Yes.
And you learn from it, and grow from it.
Well, we hope to learn from it because experiences teaches wisdom. So we hope we learn.
Yes. Yeah. By the way, I like your headphones tonight. They look really cool tonight.
Thank you. They're shining.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
They're shining. I'm looking at your headphones also. Look nice and comfortable. Yes.
Yeah. I see as the mic in there. I think I'm gonna get one of those. Yeah. Yeah, man. So we're here. And again, we are just thankful.
Thankful for being here. Definitely.
Yes.
So, thanks for joining us for Let's Talk Relationships on Yumi Radio. Here we explore the dynamics and evolution of relationships, identify challenges, and offer perspectives through transformative conversations. We are here to promote strong, healthy family life and the community. It is important to us that you know that it is not our intention to offer opinions or advice on how you should live your personal life or how your personal relationship should be. Do your own research. Be a free thinker. Make sure you are doing well in your own life as well, and know that we wish you love and happiness.
Yes. As well, look forward to a great show.
Yes.
We want to say a big thank you, a big thank you to all our partners, supporters, listeners all over the world. Right now we're in over 116 countries.
Yes.
And growing.
Yes.
So, I see some folks reaching out already.
Miss Brownie.
All right.
Yes.
Welcome. I tell you, she's always here to join and share and take part in our discussions.
Yes.
Very, very uplifting. So, we know you could be in so many other places and spaces right now, but you have chosen to spend time with us here at LTR. We value your time, we really do. So we'll jump right into our main topic.
Yes.
After sharing a few reminders. Again, like I said, welcome to our show. And we have.
I am Gloria.
Yes, and this is as you know, DJ KTE.
Yes,
that's me. And I'm here. Let's again have a good time. The time right now is 9:00. To be exact, 9:08. 9:08, and the date is October 11th, 2021.
Yes.
And we're about to make it happen tonight.
Yes.
So all your YouTube tribes out there, get your questions, get your popcorn and your drinks and your stuff. We're gonna go for a nice train ride tonight. All right.
Yes, get ready for this conversation.
Yes, there you go.
So to listen or watch this and other episodes later, you can also listen to Yumi Radio on all major digital platforms, including via our app at app.yumiradio.com, which is available on Apple or Google app stores, iTunes, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Google, Podbeam, TuneU, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, Listen Notes.
Yes. All right. So before we get to a topic, we'd like to share just an amazing, fan. Really, really, just amazing person. and a member and a returning guest. Her name is Apostle Dr. Faith Walters, and here is her spotlight.
I am inviting you to my celebration that will be held at the Gideon Putnam in Saratoga Springs, New York. So I'm hoping that, people allow the Lord to move on you, to come, open up the door, to provide the finances. All you're responsible for is the travel and the hotel accommodations. And it's a weekend getaway. And it's promised to be a very epic event. So I'm just praying and believing God that more God will move in your heart for you to be a part of this great move and just celebration of what God has done in my life and how He has blessed me through so many years, and to bring me to this point, so I'm truly grateful, so those that know me, I love to worship God in the first segment because I cannot have any celebration without giving God the glory. So we're going to have fun. We're going to have food. We're going to have just wonderful fellowship and just rejoice in the evening. And, Friday, it begins on Friday, 6 to 10 p.m. And then Saturday, it's a spa or mineral bath. And that's from 9 to 12 in the Saturday morning and Saturday evening. It's a gala event, which is all white or off-white. On the Fridays, you wear a touch of red. And then Sunday morning, we get up for breakfast. Breakfast is between 7 and 10 a.m. And we will have another time of fellowship and to reflect. We're going to have some more games. I'm going to have little different things. We're going to have a lot of music, of course. And just celebrating Jesus, dancing and just having a good time. And when we come out, we're still saved, So I'm just grateful to the Lord, they allowed me this time. And I will continue to celebrate because God is so good to me. He's been an awesome God in my life. And He's been an anchor that keeps my soul. And He has held me through so much pain, and He has got me through so much in my life. So every chance I get, every year I do something to let Him know how wonderful He is and how much I'm grateful for life, and I also do it to encourage others to don't take your birthdays for granted, your year of your birth, the day of your birth. Job cursed his birth, the day of his birth, because of his dilemma. But even though I had my dilemmas, I was rejoicing. And not only that, I'm going to be, giving out some. I always like to, even when I was on my job, I used to, the day before I did my celebration, I used to get some cake, bring it to work, and just give it out to people in honor of my birthday. So I do silly things for my birthday because I just feel people need to celebrate life. And you got so much people dying around here, and one of the reasons why I put it at Saratoga Springs, sometimes you need to get away and drive, go a little further. Don't just stay in the same community doing the same things. Come out of your comfort zone, and go beyond. Don't forget to take a leap of faith. Stop being afraid to travel out. Take the train, take the bus, whatever you got to do. Just get there, and just be a part of the fellowship, and just do something different. Be spontaneous in the moment, It's not just all about me. It's just to also, because I'm taking care of all the expenses. You just really just take you to the hotel and your travel. That's all you're doing, and it's just a time of fun. And you also got to make reservations for your spa. That's up to you if you want to do that. Or, you spend time, just being in the area because Gideon Putnam is a beautiful resort. Oh, my God. It's so quiet and serene. I'm just encouraging you just to, come and share in the moment with me. And I trust you will have a wonderful time. So God bless you and thank you again. And I hope I see you there. And send me a text. If you have my information, send me a text. Of course, you have the numbers, 914 837-9635 or 914-699-2482. Or send me an email that you would like to come at wamoministries@gmail.com.
All right. You see, I know there's something about this lady here. Because I've been on one of her events.
Okay.
Per day, and tell you, she's just full of life. Oh, she's energetic. She's enthusiastic. I mean, she's like a firecracker. You know, I mean, she's like a party by herself. But I really loved her events.
Yes,
and she's right. She really believes in this. Celebrating life and really, taking time off for me, for yourself.
Yes.
Because sometimes we work, for the kids, for the job. We spend time in building our own career, our own business, and we miss out those me moments that needs sometimes to be refreshed and renewed in that sense of the word, so we can get back to our business, in life. Hey, Lady Misty.
Hey.
There you go. We miss you, Lady Misty. She's always there with us, just checking in and making sure that we're doing the right thing. Otherwise, she's spanked us, right, Lady Misty? We're getting in trouble now. She's watching, so we got to keep in shape here.
Don't be too hard on me now.
Yeah, make sure we do the right thing, right, Lady Misty? Oh, we love you so much. Yes. Right. Yes, so we thank God for Dr. Faith. So, tonight,
yes,
Gloria, we about to get the party started here.
Yes, we are. And the topic that we're exploring tonight is inspired by conversations and even our own relationship experiences, even like what you spoke about at the beginning, even with your divorce, what you were able to gain from it. So, I mean, everybody has experiences where they've had to deal with toxic conversations in relationships. And also this should be a good show.
Yeah. I think so. All right. So we know we have this I guess these 10 things.
Yes, we do.
That I think you want to dive into for us, and let me give the audience a perspective here what we're going to build this off.
Okay. So you want to go ahead and read? So
yes.
For the topic exposing bad communication habits, we have, first of all, what is a toxic conversation? Because we have to know exactly what that is. So it means lying, bending the truth, exaggerating something, or leaving out information so that you can take a certain action or have a certain opinion of them. So we have 10 signs of bad communications. And remember, there are more than 10, but we're only, focusing on 10 today, or we're only conversing about 10. So we have 1 is getting defensive. 2 is stonewalling each other, which is giving the cold shoulder. Passive aggression, which is 3, assuming you know what your partner is thinking without even asking them. 5 is a lack of compromise. 6 is fewer attempts to connect with each other. 7 is criticizing or belittling each other. 8 is circular arguments that are never resolved. And 9 is arguing about the facts behind the conflict instead of focusing on what the experience was like for each other. And the 10th one is selective communication. So I see that persons already have started, talking about it. We have, toxic conversations, these are toxic communities, which is correct. And we see where, if it is that, we have any of these things, we'll never be able to have good communication with our partner or whomever it is that we're having this conversation with. Right?
Yeah.
So we have a special guest with us tonight. And, before even we do that, we want to just continue to invite the viewers to like the video and to comment throughout the show. And, we thank you so much, our commentators, even Miss Brownie.
We want your engagement. Yeah.
Love everybody. Yes. We want your engagement. It's always good to have that in the show and hear your perspectives also.
Yeah.
Right. So even after that, we have a guest a special guest that will be joining us. It's for the first time, and his name is Next Change. So he is married, and he's a conversationalist on topics related to relationship. He is also a gospel recording artist. So we're also hearing from his perspective on how this is. Yes,
right.
so welcome, Next Change. Thank you so much, Lady Misty.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, it's not easy taking over from you, but doing my best.
she said a real high bar, didn't she?
Doing our best. So we're
Yeah.
waiting on Next Stage to come. So while we're even waiting on him,
Yeah.
even these 10 things that we have spoken about or listed, we can see how vital it is. Even some small things, as in getting defensive over something, or not even hearing the other person's opinion, or considering how they feel. Those things alone can cause toxic communication.
Yeah.
Some things that without us even realizing it or noticing it.
It's true. And you think about it, when it comes to these things, most people sometimes don't know when they are doing it. They don't know when they actually are behaving that way.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I believe that there's a study shows that kids, they kind of come to their own personality at around 6 or 7. They really become set
Right.
for the rest of their lives. And I think when one has grown to an adulthood,
Mm-hmm.
25, 30, 40, and have had not done certain things prior to that, certain
Right.
changes, certain, adjustment in their personality, their attitude, the way about life, it is very, very, almost very hard to even turn that around.
Right.
And sometimes the work that it takes to even try to root it up and replant, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
seems almost impossible or improbable. But again, it required that kind of sense of determination, wanting to please the other person.
Right.
I think we're in a culture that people are just very selfish. It's a
Mm-hmm.
me culture,
Mm-hmm.
where sometimes we don't take the extra step and say, you know what can I do? Who can I be so I can have the other person have a better experience,
Right. Right.
And many times folks have been beaten down in their lives themselves, that all they do now is just about they're in the survival mode. It's really, at this point, everything I do is about surviving.
Right.
And it's an unhealthy way of doing it. But, people do find, we call it coping mechanism.
Yes.
Some go to the bottle.
Yes.
Some go to alcohol and drugs.
Yes.
Some go to different means. So we see the behavior comes in many different ways.
Yes.
People saying, I'm protecting me, and it's like I said, it's a lot of broken people.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about trauma all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really is accountability again. As the one that's one said, it's hard speaking to someone who simply refused to take accountability.
Yes.
Yes, I believe that's true. I've been told time that I don't take accountability by other people, and sometimes I think I probably don't, and sometimes I do. Hands up and both fists in the air. Sometimes I don't.
Yes.
Sometimes I don't really care.
Yes.
What the person
True.
thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
True.
and sometimes I really don't care. I mean, at the moment, I really don't care what you think.
Right. Right.
And the other time, you know what? I care. Let me rethink this thing.
Yes.
Let me adjust this thing.
Yes.
I think as human beings, we're very complex. This time we want to give. This time we want to be selfish.
Yes.
This time we want to be with a crowd. This time we want to be by ourselves.
True.
This time we want to scream. This time we want to be silent.
True.
This time we want to go to church. I
This
hear
time
a
we don't.
message. Sometimes I want to stay in my bed and just watch my TV.
Sometimes we
I want to
don't.
watch cartoon. I want to watch Roadrunner and Roger the Rabbit. I don't want to see nothing serious right now,
Uh-huh.
So, but I'm known to be one that don't take accountability. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm working on it. I'll be a better man.
And the good part is introspection. At least you have done introspection.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
now
yeah.
it is that you can see where you are, whether
Yeah.
you're wrong in some aspects or
Oh
not.
my God, so wrong. I'm like both hands and feet in the air. Like, good God Almighty, I need help. Somebody help me. Yeah. I need 2 therapists at one time.
That's right. And
Yeah.
I think
we have some challenges here with the maybe Wi-Fi. Not
Next
sure
change.
why that's going on. Sometimes these things happen. We have technical challenges here.
Difficulties. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Uh,
I'm hearing a background, but I'm not hearing.
yes. And this comment said, I think when people treat you this way, it's simply because they do not value you or
Or
what
what
you
you're
are
saying.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it is true. Sometimes it's a moment thing. It's not even a personal thing. And sometimes, when people do things, they don't even know they're doing it. They really don't know
No, they don't.
unless they're told, because the people who will say they'll be very, very open with their feelings and share it with you. So if you haven't heard it all your life, and someone said, "Will you be this way?" It's almost like, what makes you so
Yeah.
special?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are
Mm-hmm.
you right? Then everybody was wrong.
Hi, night. Can you hear me?
Hey, I think he's
We're
here.
hearing him now.
I'm hearing a voice. I'm here to see an image now, right?
We can't see the image, but we're
Hi.
hearing.
There we go.
Yes.
Welcome, my brother. Welcome.
Okay.
Can you see and hear us? Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? I don't
Can
think
you see us or
can
hear us?
No, I'm not hearing anyone.
But you
I was
answered.
hearing Gloria before, but I'm not hearing anyone now.
You're not hearing anyone now. You check your your microphone or your headphones maybe, because that way we can get this rolling here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So hopefully he'll be hearing soon.
Yes, hopefully he'll hear soon.
Yeah. All right. So there's a minute or two to have him on. So until he comes, yes. So it's glorious, yeah. So we definitely on a very interesting topic here.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Okay,
yes.
We're hearing you.
Are you hearing us?
Oh, we're literally what to do. So until then,
Yeah.
I think we all.
Mm-hmm.
We
Or
all
maybe can probably come out and log back in again. That may work as well. Sometimes if we log in, that helps as well. Yeah. So go ahead, Gloria. You were saying.
Right. I'm saying number 4 on the list, which is assuming you know what your partner is thinking. We also, many of us, and I do sometimes also expect. In relationships, sometimes we expect the man to know what we're thinking, or we expect the woman to know what we're thinking.
True.
And we oftentimes hear, especially from the men, we can't know what you're thinking without you saying it.
True.
So that alone can also cause problems because of our expectations.
Yes, and we don't talk too much sometimes.
We don't talk much. And even men don't talk much. So sometimes you'll hear women now start badgering because we want the men to open up and talk, and we're like, open up and talk, and the men don't want to talk. And even because sometimes, as I said, men sometimes they say few words or few things.
Yeah.
So even coming from that, even the body language with saying, I don't have anything to talk about, can be offensive also.
Mm-hmm.
As Ms. Brownie says, true, and we underestimate the power of language or symbols being man-made, which is true also.
That's true.
And we underestimate what our body language is when we're speaking to someone.
Yeah.
Because they can actually know how we feel about a situation and know what, know how what is said. Because even here it says different words mean different things to different people, and it's true.
Yes.
I have learned my lesson with that in terms of how I feel about something, and I will say something, and like even with my husband, I will say something to him, and probably he will get offended. And in my mind, why are you being offended by it? It doesn't mean anything. And then I'll pick up on the body language and realize, okay, there's a problem. Because I'm picking up on the body language, I'm realizing we have a problem. So let's talk about what this is. So it is, what is the problem? What is it that I have said? So when it is that he explained it to him, say, oh, but that's not what it means for me. So it means two different things. Because an example is, as we used to have an argument about what few means. The word F-E-W, few.
Few.
And for me, when I say it's a few weeks or a few days, it doesn't have, for me, it's, if a few days or a few weeks, it's probably Like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. For me, that's a few. For him, a few only means like 2 days or so. That's not a few to me. So we had problems also with understanding what few meant to
Yeah.
each other. So
Mm-hmm.
that small word alone caused big problems. So we had to, okay, what does your few mean? And take the time out now to figure out, okay, what does your mean versus what mine mean, so that we can have a proper understanding of what we're talking about.
Wow. You know, that's a great point. One of the things that I learned when I was married, there were times I would hear you are passive aggressive. Now, my ex-wife is a therapist. That's with background psychology, that kind of thing. And sometimes people tend to psychoanalyze you a lot, depending on where their background and what the background is. But when you said passive aggressive, okay, is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? Is that okay? Should I be aggressive? Should I be, what is what? I mean, I'm passive aggressive, so I'm passive aggressive. I'm aggressive. So we got to be something. But what made it so interesting was that when I'm trying to be calm, in my mind, I'm saying I'm merely just trying not to be outwardly blasphemous.
Right.
But in her mind, I guess I should be louder or maybe something more aggressive to say, well, you're not being passive aggressive. I'm actually just trying to be calm.
Right.
And many times it's passed on as you've been passive aggressive. You're not really being genuine with how you're being.
Hearing.
Like, well, in my mind, I'm just trying to just get to the conversation here. But I've learned how not to be, I would say, not to expect too much from people. Really.
Or limit our expectations with people.
Not to expect too much from people.
Right.
And realize that people do the best they can.
Yes.
How they think.
Yes.
It's what they think they do.
That's important. Yes.
And you can't ask for the work of a fork using a spoon.
No.
A spoon is a spoon.
Yes.
And so my job is to understand who you are.
Yes.
I said that's how you are, and I'm going to address you and deal with you that way.
Yes.
But I don't spend too much time trying to make you fit in my mold.
No.
And then what we do sometimes that when we don't get that person that mold of our understanding of what we think is proper or call it politically correct or whatever you want to call it, then now the words come in now.
Yes.
You're this, you're that, you're incompetent.
We start using words.
Belligerent. You are incontinent. You are defensive. You're this. Then the names start now.
Yeah, we start belittling.
I don't know what. I'll work on it, but sometimes the work on it doesn't come overnight. Would it be early for you to say, oh, there's a change? Because my change may take a year. And you may see 2-3 weeks, a month. I'm doing something in a month. They're like, this guy's crazy. This lady's crazy. They're not changing. But it may take a year. It may take 5 years for it to change properly. I don't know. But I guess it start with accepting, that's your experience, whatever it is. And maybe you can apologize. Listen to me. I'm working on it. I'm doing my best. And the rest will fall into its own place.
Fall into place.
Yeah, but
I mean, I'm seeing the comments. When you think they don't understand, you try to understand.
That's a great statement there.
It's a great statement. And I remember also I had a friend. He also said to me, you can try communicating this particular way so that other people will understand and there is less conflict. He said it may take time, but it works out better. So his method is, when someone is saying something to you and they're angry, try and disassociate the anger from what they're saying for a minute and see what they're saying. If it is that want to try and understand what they're saying so that you can respond accordingly. So you're responding to what they're upset about and not the body language that you're seeing.
Wow.
So when respond to what they're actually saying, you ask them, is this what you're trying to say? So instead of just responding, you repeat it so that they can hear how you are hearing it, because oftentimes people are hearing what you're saying but not listening to what you're saying. So we respond to people who we respond to what we're hearing, not what we listen to. And that oftentimes causes problems. So what we do now is, he said, listen to what they're saying, and then you repeat it to them. And then if they say, yes, that's what I said, or no, that's not what I meant, then there can be explanations from that.
Yeah.
But if it is that we continue to react based on what we are seeing, which is their body language or the tone of voice that they're using, because that also causes problems, or how they're saying things, that can cause a problem. So even though the listening and then asking questions, so we have to learn to always ask questions. So we ask questions: is this what you are saying? Is this what you meant? Because sometimes, as it was said before, persons sometimes say things not necessarily meaning something bad, but we're taking it in a particular way because of how we view it. So to cause less arguments or disagreements, we can always ask questions.
Yes, and that's a great point. Very great point. And something I learned in one of the therapy sessions that I had, and the therapist said that sometimes a person hears through their dad, they hear through their mom, they hear through an experience, they hear, and so therefore when they hear, they almost don't even hear for themselves. They hear through the pain, they hear through a moment, and so it becomes an impediment. And then you have another angle of it where someone think they hear and understand what you're saying. Like if you say to me, for instance, Keith, give me the red pen. I didn't feel any to ask you, what did you say? Did you say the red pen? I heard the red pen. So I don't ask you exactly what you're trying to say. I heard you. So you might have said blue. So I want to ask you, if not, I heard a red. So man said, oh, well, it wasn't red. So it needs, again, there are folks who have the gift to us, they have patience.
Yes.
Some folks don't have that gift.
Oh, you're speaking to me.
They really don't. And then the other part of it now is that there is a methodology of how you can speak. Effective speaking, many people have not learned that.
Yes.
Because what you said a while ago, it's like a skill set. Like, okay, someone say something to me, I'm going to revert back to what they said and have them, and have me, kind of confirm that, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
But that's a whole different technique. When you're having an issue when it's a fast-paced thing, you're anxious, you may be upset, you're coming at me a certain way, you're coming at you a certain way. It's not that time, space
to ask questions.
Yeah, questions.
Who really
like
stops?
you sound. In fact, you may probably exacerbate the conflict.
Yes,
even more, because sometimes the people, if you try to be that way, they lose their mind. They will lose their mind. Like, okay, you know what? See you next week. You know what I'm saying? Because
but we deflated the conflict, didn't we? Because instead of seeing the hands going and whatever, we're deflating the conflict by saying, what did you mean by that? I think we're afraid to ask questions, and we're and I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of it. So when I hear voices raised and when I see hands going and it's a different, when I see tones or hear tone, it's a different ball game that we're on. So I have to consciously say to myself, hey, all right, forget about the tone. Let's figure this out, or take a breath, because not everything we have to respond to. And that's a problem also in relationships. We don't know when to respond and when not to. We don't know how to fight our
critical one. I tell you, I've done two jobs in my lifetime, and they were both they both place a big emphasis on this de-escalating conflicts. We're dealing with young men. A lot of these young men, they were, they had misdemeanors. They probably went to jail once or twice. Broken homes, angry boys. Fatherless, and so therefore you put all them in this one place. 15 to 20 boys, who are having issues, and say, well, you're alone working with these boys, and if there's any conflict here, that to be de-escalate the conflict. All in one room, 4 guys in one room from different parts of the city, with their own issues. They don't have their own space. They're told when to go to the bathroom, when to go to school, when to do this, when to eat, when to watch TV. It can be very stressful, right?
Yes, it can.
They can't leave when they want to leave and go off ground. They can't do what they want to do when like we can, like staff, and go out and do our thing. They're pretty much stuck at this facility here.
Mm-hmm.
So there are many times when there's conflict, I have to jump in there, find a way to cause this de-escalation to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess a big part of my thing is to always be calm. Like, I really care about what's going on here. But when I hear that intense thing happen, I become very calm. Almost like disengaged. But I guess it's a part of my training. But I'm there. Yeah. So either so much can happen when you're dealing with relationships and communication and addressing the conflicts.
Yes.
Those different dynamics. This show is about really, hopefully, inspiring the listener to say, you know what, maybe I can make a slight change. Yes. Sometimes it may not be big, giant steps. It's also small little changes that you make over time.
Yes.
That blossom into something that's beautiful.
Yes.
And it's but I definitely hear you. I definitely hear you, Gloria. When you talk about being guilty of not able to flow that way to get the best outcome. Yes, so it's pretty interesting.
It is. So we're gonna see if we can look at some of the YouTube comments that we're seeing, and we're continuing to invite viewers to like the video and comment throughout the show. And we want to thank again our commentators for being involved. Yeah. As Brownie says, saying nothing sometimes is the best response. And I agree.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness.
I agree with that.
That is so on point. Yes.
So, let me tell you, it's... oh, gosh.
Give me one of your crazy moments when you were like, what was I thinking?
Oh, my goodness.
Crazy moments, Gloria.
So, what I remember is... All right, so there's two situations. And one of the situations is... with my ex-husband, he would do things so that I respond because he knows.
Triggers, huh?
I can be a firecracker. So he does things because he knows I'm gonna respond. And I remember one day I responded, and it was nothing Christian that I responded about.
Watch it now.
So we're just being open.
I wonder what that was.
It was nothing Christian that I responded about. And he said to me, "Why are you responding? Aren't you a Christian?" And I was like, "Whoa, he's correct." But for me, when persons are aggravating you so that you can respond, the best thing is to not respond. It's hard, but it's also called self-control.
Yeah.
So when it is now that he was doing things, as I reach home and I'm happy, he will say things and it will want to upset me. And I will remember, my counselor at the time saying to me, you don't need to respond to everything he's saying. If he wants to say something, it's probably not you he's talking to. And if he's saying something that is demeaning, it's not you he's talking to. So ignore it. Why are you responding to something? If you're responding, it means that you're agreeing with what they're saying. So don't.
Okay.
So at a point, I learned to not respond.
Okay.
And after a while, I did not respond. Then he started coming around and stopped doing what he was doing.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I had to learn. And the part of this is, as a counselor, I was able to tell other people and other couples to not do this. But for my relationship, I was responding, saying, because just like our doctor cannot help their own relatives, a counselor cannot help themselves.
You know what? You got it. You got a point. Because I've always wondered about a lot of these therapists.
No, can't help
they seem to be so out of whack. Like, my goodness, you have all the answers. Why do you think?
So we can't help ourselves. When you're in the situation, it's totally different. But I've learned that I've just really learned that not answering sometimes helps them to change.
That's true.
I'm not saying all the time, but it does. I've also been at workplaces where things has happened and I have responded. I've responded without caring, without feeling, without anything, because this is how I feel. And it was sometimes always about how I feel. And as it says here, sometimes we argue about the facts behind a conflict instead of focusing on what the experience was like for the other person. So I had to learn that, hey, I felt a way about something, but the person also felt a way. Let us talk about how each of us felt about it, and let's apologize and come to an agreement. But the honest truth is, it's not easy to do. It has to, as I always say to people, sometimes we have to kill flesh. We have to learn to kill flesh and not to respond. It's not easy, but we have to do so.
Yeah. You know, I think, and I heard someone mention this, that whatever person is and wherever they are, they're being authentic.
Yes.
You know, we'll talk about some of the lists that people are, we call it, they're defensive. They may sideswipe the conversation. They may stonewall. Some say gaslight. I'm just trying to figure out what that is. I'm thinking kerosene light, gaslight, and different kind of lights. You know, flashlight.
Right.
I'm trying to figure it out, but I'll figure it out one day. And again, it shows you how deep. You know, I think that a lot of what we feel, even now with black people, is coming from so far.
Yes, it is.
So far that the anger and the depth of hurt and pain that has run through the black vein, the black blood, so to speak.
Right.
I think there's some effect of it that we experience now. And a lot of it is unspeakable. It's unspeakable. We can't find words. It's just there. And there's a sense of self-hate, you know, and so we become very keen and sensitive to all these things. And to grow, as we know, it is somewhat painful.
Yes.
You know, it takes that intentional thinking that, you know what, I want to be better.
Yes.
The prodigal son, you know, as a good book say, one day told his father, listen to me, I want to leave, give him my stuff, let me go and live my life. You know, he had, you know, father had his money put away and his riches put away. And so he grabbed what he could and he went out and lived his life. But there was a point when he realized after his experiences that, you know, it's not what he thought or expected it to be. And the key word in this story was this: he came to himself.
Yes.
Self-realization.
Yes.
And acknowledge where he was and said, I'm going to go back to my father.
Yes.
The decision. And of course, humility, of course, played a big part in that. He left as a son and went back more with a servant mentality.
Yes.
You know, and these are things that was so critical for his restoration.
Yes.
And of course, his father threw him a party.
Yes.
You know, and so his brother got jealous because he was like, I didn't leave the home. And but it showed the spirit of a person can take him to the lowest and at the same time take him to the highest level. So
very true.
It's a very serious topic. Toxic communication. It's a very strong word. When we say toxic, because the people who actually deliberately say things toxically, I mean, they really don't even care. Then you have the minor conflicts, and then you have the ones where people, I would say, they don't give it the, I would say, the respect it's due, you know. And some people kind of subjugate your thing less than what it is, you know. Some kind of demean it, you know. It's not important. You know, you have no voice.
Yes.
And you know, it's just so much dynamics in this that I encourage those people who are maybe having these kind of issues.
Yes.
You know, for those who are not, who have seen a counselor, to definitely look at that aspect of it, you know, to kind of hear each other.
Yes.
You know.
Check 1 2. Audio check.
Oh, I think he's here. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yes, it might be something with his device.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Something with his
device. I'm hearing them.
Yes.
Oh, you're hearing us?
Great. Can you hear us? Or maybe he has the delay
You
on.
hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Are you hearing us?
He's not hearing us. Maybe there's a delay.
There could be a delay, yeah.
We're going on to how selective communication hurts your relationship. And
Are
we
you
know that
hearing me?
we're hearing you.
But we're not sure if you're hearing us.
We're not sure at all.
Yeah, we definitely hearing you.
Yeah,
he's having some real Wi-Fi issues there.
So it says selective communication is one of the most painful experiences in a relationship, especially within a legal union.
True.
Toxic friendships are all too common. 84% of women and 70% of men report having a toxic friend at some point. Toxic relationships equal toxic conversations. And we have some pointers. They're not limited to, but they're just some pointers where persons are toxic. You're hearing us in exchange? No, I don't think he's hearing us. Okay. So we have some pointers, which is not sharing much about our past for fear of rejection or embarrassment. Not sharing things that our extended family is going through. Not sharing finances. Past relationships, sending finances to other family members, and the sex was not great. So those were some of the things that we saw online when we're looking up some of the conversations that will bring toxicity to a relationship or a conversation. And what struck me is that many times couples don't share finances. And one person thinks that the other person is hiding money from an individual.
Yeah.
And that causes a big problem in any relationship. And communication with talking about finances now becomes a big problem in communication, because nobody wants to say, okay, I have this savings or I have that money, because why do you want to know how much money I have? It's my money. Or if it is that I want to send money to my family, why should I tell you? Why should you know? I mean, we're married, but do you have to know? Those are some of the questions that I see that persons are asking. Also, is the sex great? So after sex, are we going to talk about it if it wasn't great? Should I tell you that it wasn't good? I mean, you were thinking that it was good, but at the end of the day, I was thinking about work. So should I tell you? Should I not tell you? So should I, so questions like that. And even not sharing our past, because if we share our past, we don't know if everyone is gonna accept us for who we are. So we prefer to not let people know about our past and what happened, because we don't want an argument coming up and our past is being brought into that argument, because that also could lead to resentment and bitterness.
Yeah. You had some very, very important point there. One of the viewers said, wow, I think it also includes business conversation too. It certainly does. I think that too many relationships, and I've seen those who started out, especially in the church, and they didn't really discuss some things prior that they should have asked. And we had a show recently where we had it was really about asking all these questions. I think it was 100 and 15 questions, I believe. I don't remember exactly, but it was a lot of questions that we tend to kind of go through on the show. Different stages of relationship, from friends to dating to marriage and that kind of thing. And I think that it was an eye opener, and in fact, it was one of her pretty well watched and responded to shows. But too many people, they do not ask certain important questions prior to getting deeper into a relationship, like marriage.
They don't.
And sad to say, folks, it's bad enough that folks go through their own changes, when you're 30, when you're 35, when you're 40, you go to your own change just as a human being. To have walked into something where you haven't even discussed some of those really important things that affect you, like the sex or money.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like two of the top ones.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle the money? I mean, and so, and then when you do bump up into the issue, how do you address it? Sometimes it's too combative. So when you're dealing with adults, they have the right to be an adult.
Yes.
They have a right to do and say what they don't want to say. And so therefore it takes a careful approach when you have engaged prior.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now we didn't discuss it now, and I'm seeing this now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? How do I address that? So the person won't feel as if I'm being too evasive and too abrasive, and they can maybe welcome the conversation. That also is important. So a lot of folks act surprised when they have not discussed it before. You know?
Yeah. Is it because I don't know. Is it because they don't feel or they don't think that it's important to? Because I mean, even talking about things that are happening with your family, for people, say something is happening with someone's family, is are they obligated to share it with their partner? Some people say no because it's their family. Some people say yes because anything happened to their family also affects their spouse because the spouse is now a part of the family.
Yes.
So I mean, each individual also have a different idea of what should be spoken about and whatnot. But I think before getting deeper into marriage, the courtship process should be dealt on. Let's talk about these issues. These are some problems that we need to speak about before we even go further.
Yeah. I mean, an example would be this. I'm married to someone, we didn't discuss a particular thing. I can now say to the person, you know what, honey, I know we didn't talk about it before, and we probably should have, but now that it has come up, I think that we should have a discussion about it. Just so that we can be on the same page, that we can connect, and it can become. I mean, rather being the divisive issue, we can become a negotiation. We can have understanding that you love your family. I love my family, and I'm sure if they're in need, we both want to help our families.
Yes.
But how can we do it in a way where it doesn't conflict our own purpose? If we save for a house, your family needs some money because they're emergency, but we trying to get a house and a family together here.
Then
So
what's important?
Right. So how do we approach that?
How do we go from there?
I always say life is going to happen. Things are going to happen. So a lot of what Christ did was how do you handle it now when it happens? Where is the love walk? Where is the understanding walk? Where is the patient walk? Where is the long suffering walk? Where is the gentleness walk? Where is the meekness walk? Where is the temperance walk? Because things are going to happen. And so it brings things out of you, and how are you going to now relate to those things to have a good or the best outcome, So that's all my mind goes there when I hear about people or when I see that people don't prepare initially before they get into these deep long-term relationships.
So we're gonna look at what persons are saying in the comment section. I saw some persons writing some very interesting statements. What happened when you are speaking to someone about something, they do not address that, but start a whole new conversation of their own? It means you're basically really ignoring what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think I've done it probably many times, and I think many times too. It was done without knowing, because it's funny because I learned something about women that's so interesting. I think women are better listeners than men in general. Better listeners than men. Probably much better too. And they also retain things better than men. They remember things somewhat better than men. I think they do. I really do. And I think sometimes I find in the conversations, in my experience, I realize that sometimes the memory issue is not as good. So you hear the person, and you're not remembering what you need to even to address.
Mm-hmm.
So like, how do I address it? I don't remember. So I find myself cutting into someone's conversation to
Mm-hmm.
make sure I get bit by bit. More like the wrong approach, but by
Mm-hmm.
bit by bit, how do I get this conversation right?
Mm-hmm.
And then of course that can be sort of the person put off or turn off, or more of a negative than a positive. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Is he hearing us? Are you hearing us now? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Wow.
Okay.
You
All
hear me?
right. Well, yes.
Oh
Yes.
yes.
Finally, here we go.
I,
Yes.
I missed out on a lot, but I heard a few things.
Yes.
You know. Yes.
Well, we did give an introduction, and we can probably just maybe share a little more before we hear your thoughts.
Right. So as you heard before, we're talking about you know toxic 10 toxic things or 10 toxic things that people doing in relationship or conversations basically, and we're talking about not sharing. That the aspect that we're at now is when we are not sharing certain things or certain aspects of our lives because we don't want to be embarrassed of it, or we don't want to be rejected of it, or we don't want to hurt our partner's feelings, but in turn of not having a proper conversation with them, we're hurting them. So we touched on like some of the topic of not sharing finances, like not sharing how much money we have in our bank accounts to our partners, because everybody's view is different, and I think those things should be spoken about prior to marriage or prior to getting into a serious relationship. Are we going to be able to do this? Things like, even, do we want kids?
And how many kids?
How many kids do we want? Are you planning to migrate? Are you not planning to migrate? The religious, are you ever thinking of changing your religious beliefs or not? Things like that. So
Yeah.
that's some of the pointers. And even for the fear of embarrassment, we don't want to tell people how many persons we have been with in the past, or we don't want to tell somebody that I got locked up. There's a time I got locked up, or there's a time I stole something.
Yeah.
Because we don't want them to now judge us and say, okay, I don't want to be with you because you did that. But it is important because we have even situations where women get married to men knowing that they cannot get pregnant.
True. True.
And that is something that should never happen, because the partner should know that you're not able to get pregnant. And I've met persons already who don't want to tell the partner that even they're not virgins because the partner wouldn't want to be with them. Or even to say, listen, I am I'm not able to have kids, or they're not able to have kids because, hey, so and so reason. It might be health reason, it might be situations where they have done abortions before and it has caused harm on their body. It can be so many reasons. So these are some of the things that we're talking about. So now when it's brought up in a marriage, in a union, it causes problems, because why didn't I know this before? Why didn't you tell me this before? So
Right.
we got
Right.
married now on false belief.
Yeah, and it happened quite a bit.
What's your 2 cents, Mr. in Exchange?
Well, for me personally, some things need to be unsaid, which there, and I believe that some things need to, you need to say some things.
You want to be more specific on those
Um,
things?
Especially like past relationships.
Mhm.
I personally believe that, you know, if you're starting a new chapter with someone, you should be at a place where those things should even matter any at all. It's just you and me, because it's you and me in a relationship.
Okay.
All things have passed away. So,
Yeah.
it is us now, and we are creating our own story. We are writing our own book. If I should bring up the past, I believe that what happened in the past, I am stapling it on this new story that I want to write. So I personally don't believe that I should share what whatever happened in the past with where whosoever I've been with back then. Two, for me, I believe yeah, you're supposed to can discuss your finances. I mean, if it's only $2 you have, it's just $2 you have. But sometimes it reach at a place where the person don't believe that you just have $2.
Don't trust you, huh? You're not
Yeah,
trusted. How much you really
yeah,
have, brother? How much you really have in that
yeah.
bank?
So even if you give them the bank card or you send them to an ATM machine to withdraw some money and they see the balance, they still don't believe, and there is nothing you can do or say. You just have to know that, okay, I know that I am telling you the truth, you know, and you just have to leave it there,
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I believe that for relationship, you should be as crystal as possible. Um, but sometimes when you be too
Clear.
crystal clear, it causes a lot of trouble.
A
But
So
yeah,
viewer said, but isn't it better to be open and honest
and lose
and
the
lose
yes,
wrong
the wrong person
person.
so that you can find the right person? That Alyssa
well,
commented on that.
yes, that's true. That's true. You know, because if you're being open and honest and you can share everything with one person, and whenever there's an argument, they don't take whatever you share with them and throw in your face, then that person is a keeper. But when you're with someone who you share everything with, and then whenever you have there's a little disagreement, they start to dig up your past and start to throw it in your face. First thing, that's when I believe the relationships start to go downhill, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because I mean, throwing things in someone's face, the person is gonna start to stay quiet. And
Mm-hmm.
whenever the person start to stay quiet, then that's where the troubles start.
So
You
being
know,
quiet causes problems.
Yeah,
I have this weird philosophy, right?
yeah,
That if you're with someone, you're with another human being
yeah,
Hmm.
who's very flawed
yes,
and very broken. And the
yeah,
thing that I learned in my experience being married, that's why even now I can do anything for my wife, my ex-wife,
yeah,
in terms of just she have a need, if I'm available, I'm there.
yeah,
I don't, even though there are moments I'm like, it could have gone that way. She made a decision as an adult
yes,
for her own well-being that she thought, right? I
yes,
had to respect that. I mean, I liked it, but she did it because she felt that's where she was at in her life.
Hmm.
Um, and so I don't hold it against her, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
I think people have issues because they're concerned with the outside element opposed to the inside element.
yeah,
So,
and
in other words, it may become a day where a person may does not like you. It could be your own brother, it could be your mother, it could be whatever, your friend. So when you walk in the understanding, is another part of life where you just deal with it and move on.
yeah,
Is it
And
so
so
easy?
I'm learning that more and more because people can surprise you. I mean, the best in us can be like, what happened here? You know?
that's
And that
true. That's true.
and DJ
Mhm.
KTE, that's why people don't want to talk. There's something
Yeah.
that Next Change had said, but even before that, I want to just thank you so much for your effort. Next Change, you never
Yes,
gave up.
that's
You're
right.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. I got to give it a
consistent.
hand. Give it a hand for that one. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
My goodness.
A true
Thank
champion,
you
man. Yeah.
so
True
much.
champion.
Very
you know,
consistent.
Yeah.
I
Like that.
I I always believe in people talking, learn from each other.
Yeah.
So whenever there's an interested conversation,
Yeah.
yes, I definitely want to be a part of it. You know,
Yes. The question I have though, Next Change, is first of
yeah,
all, we had someone commented and asked if you can handle the truth. But before you even answer that question,
yeah,
suppose your past relationships affects your future relationship in terms of, and I'm agreeing with you to some aspects because
yeah,
I also personally don't agree that I need to give every detail or
Yes.
talk about everything in a
Right.
past relationship. If it is that I don't think or I don't believe it's gonna influence or have any effect on my marriage or my future relationship, I really don't see why I need to speak about it.
Okay.
What we have things where people have suffered mentally from past relationships and take it into their future relationships.
True.
And it is
True.
something that they need to speak about. And it's also, there can also be situations where have an ex who is a stalker. Now your wife or the person who you're with now is saying, who is that person? All of a sudden, I never heard about this person yet,
Mm-hmm.
and this person is now sending you a message and whatever. And if it is that you had said, so and so person is my ex, probably an argument could have, you know,
Mm-hmm.
there probably wouldn't be an argument because this person already know who these people were to me or
Yeah.
are to
Okay.
me. I'm not saying definitely go into detail that, hey, we went out to this coffee shop and drank something, or or we had so and so arguments. Things like that don't need to happen. But suppose your past relationship affects your future relationship, would you then feel comfortable speaking about it?
Um, if the person is willing to sit, listen, try to understand, then fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you try to sit with your partner, explain certain situation, and when you think that your partner would give you maybe a word of encouragement, or you both can sit down and find a solution to fix the problem, it become a bigger problem, with your partner, because your partner start to assume all
Hi,
sorts of stuff.
what we spoke
you know
about earlier.
you know so that's the key thing of it, because by the end of the day, most of the time you want to share stuff, but sometimes when you sit down and you pencil it out in your brain, you're saying to yourself, it don't make sense. I say it because if I say it, then her thoughts start to go up the hill, down the hill, and around the road, and then she forget that we were talking about, say for instance, we were talking about the fan,
Mm-hmm.
and her thoughts now start to bring her that we move from the fan to the TV, and the TV to the bed, and the bed to the chest of drawer. So all these things now start to become a problem, and we lose focus of the fan, and it become a big argument when we could just simply talk about the fan and find the solution for the fan.
Okay, I get you.
And too. I think that a lot of people, they want to know the person's past because they want to do a comparison, and sometimes they
That's
feel insecure
yeah,
about
that's true.
themselves.
Yeah.
And also too, what's make it dangerous too, because I learned a lesson so long time ago. I learned this lesson, and I said, let me just learn from that. Much younger. I was in my 20s, and of course, a young man in church, and those young lady that I was, we were conversing, weren't dating yet, but we are just talking. And I asked her, you know, I said, what's the longest you give her a kiss before?
Yeah.
In my little mind, I had no idea. She was going to say what she said. And my friend, she said to me over an hour and a half straight. I said, are you kidding me? I didn't thought that was possible. She kissed a guy over an hour and a half. I said, I can't mess with you. I'm going to
Yeah.
leave you alone.
That's right.
Because whatever kiss that was,
Yeah.
whatever that was, I'm not going to. I'm not going to try to beat that record.
Yeah.
Because now here's the part that's so interesting about that is that she might have changed and converted and okay, and and that's not important to her
Yeah,
anymore.
you're right.
Yeah.
You're
But
right.
in my mind, no, I took it on, and oh my God, and Jesus,
And
going
that's why we
wild.
don't share our past. That's why people don't share their
So
past.
that's where it gets you when you say glory, when you say what you said. That's why at that point was a very good point in how we share our
Yes.
past. So I think what we should do, he said, listen to me, how do you feel about sharing your past? Let them give you the open door. Opposed
That's
to,
a good.
have you done this?
That's
Or have
a
you done
good.
that?
That
Who you
is.
with?
I
You
like
know?
that. I like
Yeah.
that aspect of it.
Yeah.
That's a great point that you made. It's better to ask somebody, do you mind sharing about your past? Because asking that to somebody can also look invasive. What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
Especially if that person is sensitive or has blocks up, and
Yes.
doesn't want to really talk about things, especially when they have been hurt before.
Yes.
So addressing them by saying, hey, do you feel free, or do you feel okay to share
Comfortable.
things about
Yes.
your past? You can do it. Let's do it baby steps and see, because sometimes when it is that we actually feel comfortable with it, we do want to share. But if
Yeah.
that person is not giving us the leeway to trust them
Mhm.
and to open up to them little by little, and it's as if we're being forced to, oh, we need to share everything right now before we get married. I mean, it's not possible. There are things that we need to talk about and share with each other, but it's not possible to share everything. And there are just some things that people will never know about you.
Yeah, and
so
that's
so
true.
so Chance, a change.
Yes.
Gloria shared something earlier about her, some of her hiccups in her marriage when she was, and I heard marriage in your repertoire as well.
Yes.
So give us something that you can say, man. Listen, man, I blew it here, man. I just went cold turkey on this woman. I know I was thinking, man. I was just, not in the right mind. I was having a bad day.
Well,
Tell
for me,
something deep about that. Yeah.
well, for me personally, I don't like arguments.
Okay. You're passive
I
aggressive, huh?
yes,
Passive aggressive. Is that what it is? Passive aggressive? Yeah.
I personally always think, I mean, it is fairy tale, but I always believe that if we are both together, we're living together, we should always think what we should do to make each other happy every single day. You
Wow.
know, if there is a problem, we suppose we can talk about the problem without it turning into an argument.
So where have you
Mm-hmm.
gone now? Where it turned into something that was what you didn't want to go there, but it went there. Tell us something
Yes.
about that one.
Well, for me personally, I mean everything go
He
everywhere.
said everything.
tell,
He
tell me,
said
tell me, change.
everything.
Tell me now. Tell me
Yeah.
that time when it went south. You know what I mean? You're trying to go north, but like, oh my
Well,
God, it went south.
it was I'm the one that I always hear, and every time there is an argument. That's why I said before that
You forgot a birthday. You
some
forgot a birthday?
no.
Okay.
It was just every time. For me personally, I have a lot of female friends.
Oh.
I don't really keep male friends. I mean, time too serious, you don't know who you're around.
Even when you're married to?
But
Even when you're married, there are female friends?
Yeah, I have female friends, but I keep my distance.
Oh,
You know,
oh, that's trouble. That's trouble there, change.
no, no,
you
no,
say you
I
don't have
keep
no man friend enough.
no, I have a few male friends, but
Uh-huh.
majority of who I communicate with are females. But
Oh goodness.
I learned to keep my distance. I mean,
Yeah.
when I got married, um, things didn't just change overnight. But as you go along and think,
Okay. I
as you
understand.
go along and think along the way, you realize that you need to change up a lot of things. You
So,
know,
so, 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 change. Did she bring it up? Like, with change all these women friends, or
no,
did you
well,
kind of initiate that thing? Or was
no,
it
it,
because of
it,
her?
it always bring up because if there's a conversation and say for instance there is something and I mentioned to her that that this female called me and said XYZ to me, instead of to stop and listen, the first thing you say, oh, I want your girl. Why she have to call your
Oh,
phone? Why she,
huh.
Oh, okay,
so
okay, okay,
so
okay.
so
Gotcha,
you're
gotcha.
yeah, so you realize now that I mean we cannot have a conversation. You
Mm.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm going to say, Mary, come to me and said this to me,
Yeah.
and you're not going to stop to listen, I am not going to say,
Okay.
Okay.
so that was one of the nagging things to me until it reached a point where, I see where I was losing myself.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, man, I curse, even God turn him back when we finish curse.
Lord Jesus.
Wow.
Lord
Change,
of
change,
mercy.
change. Talk to us.
And
What the? All right.
yes, and
Oh Lord.
I've reached a place where I've stopped to
Mm.
reflect and said, why am I making one person putting me at a place where no one have ever want to see me because I grew up in a
Wow.
Christian home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my family, grandmother, and mother, they taught me to be respectful to
There you go.
everyone. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I reach a place where I make because of one person I'm being very disrespectful and being angry, I have to be at a place where I say, you know what, I need to back up.
Time for a change. Wow.
Yes. But there's one thing I've learned though. In relationship, a lot of people get involved in relationship without overcoming their past relationship. So they go into a new relationship with an unforgiving spirit because you have to learn to forgive your past.
Oh,
When you
wow.
reach that, when you
That's
reach that,
true.
yeah, when you reach that place where you and your past can stand up and have a conversation without you're feeling this burning sensation in your heart and it is
Hate.
racing far
Mm.
fast and cold sweat washing you, you know that you forgive that person.
Mm.
And
So,
I believe a lot of us struggle with that.
we
We
carry it over. We don't
Yes,
really cut it the
yes.
right
So
way.
even if you're in a relationship and you probably do something that may be similar to what your past did, you start to look at the person and say, "Oh, see, your Tom did do me, so you want to do me."
Yes, I've experienced that in with someone who actually kept going back, as if it was almost like I was a trigger.
Yes,
And I think that's when I went to concert, it was like you can hear and do things through your experience. And first I did hear that, so that's a great point you're making there.
yeah. So
I'm
I
guilty of
mean,
that too.
for me personally, I've learned to forgive. It's one of the hardest thing I've learned.
Hmm.
But when I reach that place where I've learned to forgive, I realize that it don't make the person better. It only make me better.
Yes.
And learning to love was one of the hardest thing, especially you know, we here in Jamaica, we grew up in our culture where we say man no love man. And when I moved come to Kingston and the church that I went to, I see man hugging man. I'm like, I'm not in this type of stuff. But then you realize that it was just one big family,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and I've learned I can look at a man and say, say I love you. I mean, I
Nice.
mean, not behind it. You know,
Exactly.
I remember one Sunday I went to church and I say a friend of mine and him dressed well good. And I said to him, I said, you look good this morning. And
Mm.
him curse me and him go on the most. And I said to him, I said, you have to learn. You have to learn to
Hmm.
love yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Understand? And when you learn to love yourself, then you can express it to others.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've learned to forgive people,
Hmm.
and forgiveness work for me.
Hmm.
And any situation I go through, yes, it may be rough and it may reach a place where me tell you say me no want deal with the person and me no want have nothing to do with them. But
Hmm.
when I in my bed looking in the ceiling and me and God having a conversation,
Hmm.
and he start to show me a lot of stuff. I am the one who is quick to call and say, you know what? I am sorry and
Hmm.
I apologize. I don't say I'm sorry that easy still, but
I
but
mean,
I love, but for me personally, relationships are good. Two different personality coming together. I mean, you
Hmm.
don't know what I have been through. I don't know what you have been through. You may say something to me, I snap. I I say something to you, you snap. But we have to reach at a place where we have to say, okay, then instead of snapping at each other, how about we sitting down and getting to understand each other?
yes.
Hmm.
Because the more we understand each other, we will grow and learn each other better each day.
True. True.
I
Wow.
agree with that. I agree with that. We're gonna go to the comment section where we have Miss Brown, and she's saying, "Me too. I am. I have become
Becoming.
comfortable
Oh,
with
okay.
repentance. It's good for me.
Mm.
Um, I thought I lost the ability to love, but forgiveness, growth, and meeting new people brings healing.
Yeah.
And relationship is power, and it
Yeah.
definitely is power. Um, Even talking about forgiveness, or so it's also it's a part of the strategy used to help to better
Mm-hmm.
and make us have stronger relationship, as it says forgiveness is a necessity for peace.
Yeah.
And even going through my situation, I also had to learn forgiveness and
Mm-hmm.
learn peace with myself, because I think there was a lot of toxicness in
Mm-hmm.
that marriage that I was in, because um there were things that were not being shared. There were things
Okay.
that were being brought up about past. And I had to realize that, hey, I didn't love myself. I was expecting the other person to love me. So that's all
Important point. Yeah.
right. So that's also made the relationship more toxic, because everything that you say to me hurts me now because I believe you what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's what makes it toxic. Because if the person is saying negative things and you're not responding to it, there cannot be any argument.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But the mere fact of responding to it is also because we're probably not sure about ourselves and if it's true about us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to even learn to forgive people that say things to us, even in the heat of the moment. It's in the
Yeah.
heat of the moment, in an argument, things are said.
Mm-hmm.
Things are said,
Trust me, a lot
and
of things.
things are said. And I've said this already to persons. Listen, I've learned to not respond to everything, and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to respond, because anything that I say to you, I'm not apologizing for it.
Yep.
Mm.
I'm not
Yeah.
apologizing for it. So what I do know is, if there's an argument or if there's something, I I'm someone who thinks a lot now. So I think before I say something to you.
Yeah.
And if I'm angry or upset before the word comes out, I'm going to think about it, because if I ever respond to you, I'm not sure if I'm going to. If I ever respond, I don't know if I'm going to come and say, no, I'm sorry for what I said because I actually meant it. Am I sorry for what I really said? So
Mm-hmm.
I have to learn now to take a step back. We're okay. And as it says, we're not perfect. None of us are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So because I'm not perfect, I don't want to slip and say something that hurts you, and now you're going to carry it for the rest of your life, because we can't take back words. So
True.
it's best for us to try and make our communication better, by not responding and learning to forgive people, even learning to forgive ourselves for taking certain things. And we have to
Mm-hmm.
just grow from it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're also going to touch on the some tips for becoming a better communicator, right? And one of them is, we have to learn to listen, and we have to pay attention to body language, because that's important. We have to
Mm-hmm.
learn to ask questions,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to learn to find common ground, and don't be afraid of a little silence. I think when there is a lot of silence, people become afraid,
Yeah.
because, hey, what are you thinking? Oh, so why you're quiet? Why you're not talking to me? And
Yeah.
sometimes people do need that space
Mm-hmm.
to think, and people do need that quiet time, because if there's no sometime when there's an argument or something is about to blow up, people just need to be still.
Yeah.
Be still. Let's not just jump up and say something, as we said earlier, because half of the time when we do that, what we're missing something. There's always something. There's a broken communication right there that we're not seeing, and
Mm-hmm.
But
we need to understand what it is. So sometimes when there's an argument, sometimes we need to sometimes be quiet. I mean, I said to my husband, my husband, no, if we're having an argument, we will either say to each other, listen, I don't like you right now,
Mm. That's
and
honest. Yeah.
and I need time right now. Sometimes he gives too much time, but I would say, listen, I don't like you right now. Or he would say, hey, I don't like you right now, but let's just take some time off. And
Mm-hmm.
then afterwards, when we're both calm, we can have a conversation about it without raising our voice, without shouting, without communicating with the hands, because I communicate with my hands. So
Mm-hmm.
without communicating with the hands, without body language, and we'll have a better communication and we'll have a better conversation about an issue. And I remember even the other day, there was something that came up, and I said to him, hey, I really didn't like it. But before I even said that, I went over it in my mind a number of times, how it's going to come out, what I'm going to say, the tone I'm going to use, the body language I'm going to use. Because listen, all those things alone is going to cause a problem if it is that it's showing. So I had to talk to myself about it for some time. In fact, I went to sleep on it because it was very stressful for me to do. Because I'm normally someone that responds. So I had to sleep on it and then wake up and talk to him about it. And he said, boy, we have come a far way, because normally you'll be, fussy about it. And I said to him, I just thought about it. It's better to come and talk to you about this in this way than to make it an argument. Because what an argument does, is stop a couple from growing, stop a couple from healing. We can learn from an argument, but sometimes we prolong our arguments. Because of our egos, and we don't want to feel like, oh, well, I have to say sorry, so I am wrong. We don't want to always feel wrong. And we always don't want to feel like we're not being heard. So we like to let the other person come to us and apologize or say whatever. But it only stifles the relationship. So,
But then again, sometimes...
Good on. Go ahead, I'll change.
Okay. But then again, sometimes there's an argument and you try to stay silent. And the more you stay silent, is the more problem it creates.
Oh, jeez.
So that's the next thing, because you stay quiet. The other person believe that, oh, you're upset, and because you're upset, I vex me kind of want to, and they start go off in all sort of stuff. And they always say in school that sticks and stone will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Words
that is a lie. That is a lie.
But something that's a very important thing, and I think that if I could put something in place as some kind of mandate or some kind of format for people to have good or an effective relationship. You ask a child, what do you want to be in life? Okay, I want to be a nurse. Okay, I want to be a fireman. Okay, I want to be a pastor. I want to be this. Now, if you want to be that person, what do you think does it require to be a nurse? If you really want to be a nurse and wear that white uniform, okay, you want to be getting married, right? You want to have a relationship. What do you really want that to look like? Let's be honest with yourself. What do you really want in a relationship? Okay, I want it to look like this. So now, if that's the point of what you want, what are you willing to do to make it happen, for that thing to bloom and blossom and be amazing? Because I realize that many people, they don't know who they don't know what they really want in a relationship.
No.
They know they want someone. They don't want to be lonely. They know that. They know they may want sex a lot. They know they may want to have backup, in case emergency. You can call my spouse in case, I don't want to die alone, maybe. But they don't really know what they really want in a relationship. So they don't even know how to even shoot after it and how to put the right things in place to accomplish that. They're basically trying to learn themselves and having a whole lot of conflict going on. So that's why I think we see so many different issues. Folks, we're listening to LTR, Let's Talk Relationships. We're here with Chance tonight and one of our guests, and we've been talking about different aspects of relationships, toxic relationships, and how we can possibly avert that and make it a more wholesome experience, be it a friendship or relationship or marriage or even a business relationship. How we can have an effective, cohesive existence where we can enjoy more than despair. You know what I'm saying? Change. We can have a fantastic life. And I heard you spoke earlier. So appreciate what you said, because I'm sure people listening, you said, listen to me, man, I started off like this and I had to take a check. Speak to the men out there who want to start a relationship, maybe want to get married, and they have a whole lot of female friends out there. Speak to those men and say maybe what can maybe encourage them to think about before they tie the knot. How they maybe should approach it, maybe to not to make the wife feel so distressed and so stressed.
Well, for me personally, I want to let men out there know that marriage is a good thing, despite maybe some people going through some very rough patches
Mhm.
in their marriages, but marriage is a good thing. It's always good to just have someone in your corner, someone who is there for you at all times. Um, as men, we have to learn to limit
Mhm.
um, female friends.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes some female friendship where you have, you don't need
Mm.
because it only put you in more trouble than anything else.
I hear you.
Because sometimes you're just having a conversation and then the conversation just gone down one road.
Mhm.
And worse if it's a text conversation and then you put on your phone and your wife take it up and see it and then it cause a big problem. you
Mhm.
know so sometimes as men, when you're in a relationship or you're married, I mean, you have female friends, you have to draw the line, um let people know that, hey, this what you're saying, I don't think it is right, because if my wife see it, I know the trouble what it gonna cause. It is better to tell them the truth
Yeah.
and they get upset with you, more
Yeah.
than you're there saying, oh no man, everything cool, and then by the end of the day it is cool with them because you tell them that it is cool, but at the same time you're living in a hellhole at home.
Wow. Well said. Well said. I personally feel that, Glory, you probably test to me and share something from that from a woman perspective. But as a male, prior to being married, I can have 1,000 friends, but when I'm married, I can never make the mistake of saying my friend to
Yeah.
another woman. But as she say it, Keith, your friend call you, but I will never say my friend.
You're not going to say it to your mom.
I'll never say to my wife, that's my friend. No, we ain't got no friends here. It's me and you, baby. You're my friend. You know what I mean? Because it's for women, it's a whole different story. For them, it's a different thing when they hear that word, my friend. So that's
Yeah.
just my thing on that. Laura, what do
But
you say?
So
What do you
for
got
me,
for
agree.
us?
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so for
Sorry.
me, I have male friends.
Yeah.
But I have learned to be married
Yeah.
to limit those male friends and even curb the conversations I have with those male friends. And
Yeah.
what I do purposefully
Mhm.
is if it is I'm having a conversation with my male friend, I let my husband know.
There you go.
Um because or even if he doesn't know at that instance, I say, you know that so and so this is happening, or I'm on the phone with so and so, to just make him be aware so that he's not
Yes.
who is a young. I don't like the arguments, and I believe that I can have friends as long as there's respect there and
yeah,
everybody knows their place.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's where I am. Even speaking about this topic, I came up with a book recently that talks about things left unsaid before I do,
Wow.
which is Diary of Gloria Adigold, and it speaks about things that should have been spoken about before
I like that.
marriage.
I like that. Yeah.
And it also spoke to the fact that, hey, if these things are not spoken about, things that we see as trivial, and it's, we don't need to really talk about it.
Come
Why
up to bite you. Mm.
those things can end the marriage, actually.
Yeah. So
um
true.
I saw in that mindset, it's really to help people that, hey, not because you love this person and you don't want the person to leave you means you're not going to talk. You have to speak about things, because that lovey-dovey stage and that honeymoon stage goes after
Exactly.
a time. It goes,
Mhm.
because there are times you're not going to like this person.
Yeah.
So things, talk about things with your partner. Always talk about it till you're tired. People
Mhm.
don't like to talk, but sometimes you must talk till you kill the conversation. You kill it. You dissect every piece of the conversation, because sometimes we even leave out things that are necessary that we probably shouldn't have left out, or
Yeah.
we're understanding each other better. So for my last words to people out there is, have conversations with your spouse and have them in a respectful way. Not everything that your spouse says to you, it's the meaning or shouldn't be the meaning, and ensure that you ask them, what do you mean by that?
yep,
Why are you upset? Let's talk about it. What did this mean to you? That will save a lot of marriages, and it will actually allow couples to be friends and not just be married to each other. And friendship is vital. It's important.
Wow. Well, thank you, Gloria. I think before we go, let me not chance just say the last word here before we close out this segment here. Go ahead, Jack Change.
Um, well, I guess Gloria said everything, but for me personally, as much as having your wife, you have to make she feel that she is
Number
one.
Yeah.
She is priority. But at the same time, we both have to face reality. Sometimes your wife will say to you, me now, you can't carry me out, you can't this, you can't do that. But sometimes we have to look at where we are financially, because sometimes, as I always say, I personally believe that in a marriage, you may love your partner going to bed, but at some point, money going to become an issue.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's a very, very top, very high on the scale.
Yes, it's gonna become an issue. As for me, I always, from I left Digicel, the company I used to work with, from about 2008 thereabout or so, I tell myself that I wasn't gonna work with nobody else, and I try to do my own thing. But when I got married, as I said, you grow stage by stage. So, I reach a point where, child get involved. All right, now child get involved. This is what I do, ministry slow down, trying to do a business, the business not going how I want it to go. I need to get up and do something. You understand? So
yes.
So you may doing a little thing over there that is coming in and that is coming in, and you can put it together to make two ends meet. But sometime, but then when your partner is not looking at you trying and motivating you to do
that
what
can be
you're
tough.
doing, that can be very tough. It's hard for you to be trying, and then by the end of the day, your wife looked at you and said to you that, you need to be a man to provide for your house.
Right.
That is like, I'm trying so hard, but at the same time, you're not looking at the positive side of it. You're seeing the negative side of it. So I will encourage female out there and male, motivate your partner in every circumstances. As I always,
very important.
Yes, as I always say to people, it's better you be with someone who have potential to do something more than to be with someone who have no potential at all to do anything. Because when they do have potential to do something, you have to be the stronger person to motivate them, because sometimes it's just the drive they need to move forward at it.
Wow.
So, but most of us, instead of we motivate each other, we discourage each other, and we say some shady things that hurt each other.
We can't take back.
Yes, and then now we expect that things will forever be the same. So
I hear you. It's like as you speaking there, I mean another part show, like a part two of this.
Definitely.
Because what you're saying, you touched, you kind of opened a can of worms right there.
Yes, it did.
We are going to close in a minute, but it kind of opens that, that we really this conversation thing is really an issue for many people.
Yes.
Because like you said, when you say that word, you can't take it back like so easily.
No.
It's gone. And I think, of course, men tend to be more forgiving on this. But it does, but what we do hurt as well. We feel like, my God, we feel sometimes demotivated. We feel almost humiliated as a man. We feel like we are demasculated.
Yeah.
And so the words are so important now, especially from one that you love and care about. And most men will tell you, I would die for this woman. I give the world to her.
Yeah.
If I had the moon, I'd give it to you. I put it at your feet because, it's about making you happy.
Right.
Most men will tell you that if I had it, it's yours.
Yep.
Yeah.
And most men do what they do for the woman.
Yep.
There was the woman around. We in the forest here, chopping trees and drinking coconut water all day long. We don't care, But for the woman, we get the Ferrari, we get the big house, we do stuff just for her. So a lot of women don't get that. So because sometimes they might be impatient, or maybe it seems too long, or it's not consistent the way they think it's supposed to come. They may say some things. So it's a tough road.
Yes.
I'm here in a part 2 in this, man. I really am. But
definitely next time I will
Yes.
make sure I log
Yes.
on as early as possible.
So we can hear more.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but I thank you for coming on tonight, Mr. Exchange.
Yes.
And we look forward to meeting you again, having you as a guest again in the future.
Definitely.
You're definitely a fun dude. You open up and, and it's a blessing here.
Yes.
And of course,
Yes, it is.
Oh, Gloria, what can I say? My goodness. You have
Thank
made
you.
this show, you made this night so special.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank
for
you.
being who you are and remain that open, transparent lady.
Yes, thank you
that we
so much,
see.
DJ
Yes.
KTE.
And we thank all our viewers. We thank our engineer, the producers. They're just fantastic. And without them, this wouldn't happen. So we are ever so grateful for this platform here.
Yes.
And again, let's talk relationship, guys.
Yes.
We look to see you again next week, Monday night, same place, same time,
Yes.
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
And God willing, I'll be back with Gloria. Who knows?
Let's see.
Let's talk
Relationships on You Me Radio.
So what are we talking about?
Marriage, dating, parenting, business.
And love, emotions, sex.
It's a conversation with me, Lady Misty,
And DJ KTE.
on everything from hot topics to taboos.
Join us Mondays at 9 p.m. live on UME Radio.
Follow us at Let's Talk Relationship Show on Facebook or on Yumi Radio on Instagram. Let's talk relationships, arguments for the grown.
Get the UME Radio app to listen wherever you are. That is UME Radio. One word.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.